This is not your usual video for me, as I tend to be more into audio, but today we're going to look at this LED gutter light. Now, the only reason for showing it to you is because I was actually quite impressed with it. I'm so used to buying things originating in China and being completely and totally amazed how poor a quality these things are. So whilst this didn't come directly from China, here in New Zealand, and I think also in Australia, we have a large do-it-yourself type shop called Mitre, and this is where this came from. And there's two in a box for $6 or $7. I mean, pitifully cheap, because I don't actually need this type of light, but I thought for that kind of money I want one just to see if it's any good. Well, this is it. On the top is the solar cells, and underneath we have 3 LEDs. Now they're not as it looks. These aren't the LEDs. These are just a lens, and it looks like, from what I can see from, I don't know whether yes, you can just about see there's what looks like a surface mount LED underneath each of those plastic domes. But anyway, we're going to take it apart and have a look. A thing here which we can take out, well, if we do it correctly, that is. I think probably with the fingers going to be easiest. Yeah, there we are. And we have a battery, rechargeable type. Let's have a look at it. $600 milliamps, 1.2 volts. Now, this is the typical one that you get with most of these garden things. So it's not going to win any awards for high current, but adequate, shall we say, and dirt cheap when you need a replacement. Notice I didn't say if, because you will. The fact that these are out in the sun all day, they cook, and the batteries last typically, if you're lucky, about 2 years, but often not as long as that. Now, while I've got fairly subdued light, I have this outside charging up, and if I turn the switch, it's now on, and if we lay it down on here, it obviously detects that it's night time due to the fact it's facing downwards, and you can see the light is actually, how can I do this? The light is actually quite bright. And afterwards I'll show you how it looks mounted to the gutter, and also how much light it gives late at night. Now, I don't know how well that's going to come out on the camera, because obviously cameras tend to compensate for low light, but I was out there yesterday with it, and I was surprised how much light it actually gave. And we'll take a look inside. I think that will probably have to come off. I'm not sure, but we'll take it off anyway. And then we've got the 3 small Phillips head screws here. I've not been inside this yet, so it'll be as big a surprise stroke shock to all of us. The screwdriver is slightly on the big side for this, but I find the small ones with the metal handles really quite hard to turn on occasions. Right, let's see what we will see. Oh, we've got adequate wires, that's good. So what have we got? The answer's not very much. I think the next stage is to take these screws out. sorry about all the shadows in the light, by the way. I've just ordered some new lights so that I get better quality pictures. In fact, what I'll do is I'll turn this one on. It floodlights everything, but unfortunately, because there's just one, it does leave a lot of shadows, which is really annoying. But at least you'll be able to see what I'm doing. Right, so let's lift this little beast out. Yes, it's literally as I thought. There's a little 4-pin chip, I think, with nothing written on it. Oh, it has got something on it. Well, you cannot get a more simplified circuit than this. I've had a look at the number on the chip, and it's either a 525S or an S252S. And my initial search, I can't find anything identifying it on the internet. And the only other thing on the board is this, which I thought initially was a resistor, but it is in fact an inductor, and it's grey, red, black, silver, which according to my calculations is 82 microhenries with a 10% tolerance. And that's it. So this is a magic chip that does everything. And the other thing that is amazing, I thought these were not LED. Well, I know they're LEDs, but I thought this was just a cover on the top of a small LED. But it's not. It's actually, this is the size of the LED. And even if you look at it carefully under the lens, which is virtually impossible on here, let's have a look, you can quite clearly see the workings of it. And it's not a small diode in a big glass mold, which is what I thought. This is actually the complete diode. So, well, there's two things I've learned from this. One is that you can't get a more minimalistic circuit than this. The battery and the solar cells go straight into the chip, and there's obviously the voltage is boosted because one cell won't really, or that kind of cell won't light the LEDs, so there's obviously a boost converter making use of that inductor on that chip. Anyway, that's as far as the excitement goes. Now, the only other thing I would comment on it, it's a pity that the cell is lower than the surrounding plastic, because water will congregate in there and it's bound to seep in. Just a quick view outside. Nice sunny day, although it is a bit cloudy, but very pleasant. Considering it's only the first day of spring, we've got 17 degrees, so not too bad. Well, we're outside and it's a bit of a blustery day, so hopefully there won't be too much microphone noise, but you can see where I've mounted it up on the gutter there. Now, the only thing that's a pity is we have brown gutters, and it's a pity this thing is white because it does stick out a bit like a sore thumb. But I have to say it does light the area up very well, and we'll pop out again tonight when it's dark and I'll show you how it looks. Well, it's middle evening, it's around 9 o'clock at night, and you can clearly see the little light up there glowing quite nicely. Hard to judge exactly how bright it is there, but if I step into the picture under the light, you should be able to see me. Well, I've fixed the exposure, and if I step into the light behind it now, you should be able to see me. Well, it looks a bit ghostly, but I'm standing under the light, and considering how dark it is around me, it lights up the place adequately for the job. For what it costs, it's perfect. If you had to come out here late at night, it's better than it looks on camera. That's all I can say.